I feel like that's just a fun thing. I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us.
The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever has reached a boiling point. For months, this team was viewed as a one-woman show, a rising franchise surviving solely on the brilliance of Caitlin Clark. Every sports headline, every media segment, every doubter pointed in the same direction. No Clark, no shot. But in one unforgettable game against the Dallas Wings led by rookie sensation Paige Bueckers, the Fever delivered a seismic response that shattered expectations, silenced critics, and rewrote their franchise history. Not only did they win, without their superstar, they broke 4 records in a single night, and they did it with players who weren't even on the roster 3 months ago. On August 1st, the Fever stepped onto the floor at American Airlines Center without Caitlin Clark. For the 6th consecutive game, that nagging groin injury she suffered on July 15th had sidelined the league's biggest star with no clear timetable for return. The matchup was already heavy with narrative tension. Dallas had lost 8 of their last 10 games and were desperate. To stop the bleeding, Paige Bueckers, the highly anticipated rookie who was being marketed as a rival to Clark, was determined to put on a show. The stakes couldn't have been higher, and all eyes were on whether Indiana could possibly survive without their engine. What unfolded was not survival. It was domination. From the opening tip, it was clear Indiana wasn't there to just play. They were there to send a message. Kelsey Mitchell, an 8-tier veteran and the team's most experienced scorer, took the game into her own hands. She attacked the rim with fearlessness, nailed clutch three-pointers, and orchestrated the offense with a poise that kept the Wings off balance. Her 23-point performance on 9-4-19. Shooting didn't just fill the stat sheet, it was a statement of leadership.
A lot of credit for what they've been able to do. I think the style of basketball.
While Clark sat, Mitchell stepped forward as the undeniable heartbeat of the squad. This was her team tonight, but she wasn't alone. Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard formed a front-court duo that played like seasoned assassins. Boston posted 12 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Howard put up 11 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Together, they became the first WNBA teammates in history to each log at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in the same game. No duo in the league had ever done it before, not Taurasi and Griner, not Stewart and Ionescu, not anyone. It was a historic pairing in a game nobody expected to carry that weight. But perhaps the most electric moments came from 2 names few outside of Indiana even knew before July: Chloe Bibby and Aari McDonald. Aari McDonald was not supposed to be here. She was unsigned when the season began. She had bounced around on hardship contracts. Then, the Fever took a chance and offered her a rest-of-season contract on June 25th.
Honestly, I think setting my teammates up, I think that just provides so much more energy to the team.
Since then, McDonald hasn't just filled a spot, she's transformed the team's identity. Against Dallas, she dropped 15 points and 6 assists, while controlling the offense like a seasoned general. She understood the tempo, the spacing, the reads. She knew when to shoot and when to dish. It wasn't just her scoring that elevated the team. It was her leadership, it was her instinct, it was the calm she brought to chaos. Mitchell called her a blessing in disguise. Coach Stephanie White said she had a point guard mentality and a rare awareness that can't be taught. McDonald became the 3rd fastest player in Fever history to reach 150 points and 50 assists, joining only legends Tamika Catchings and Caitlin Clark in that elite tier. That's not just good company. That's legacy territory. Then there was Chloe Bibby. Bibby's rise was even more surprising. She had barely unpacked her bags before draining clutch threes off the bench. 2 in one game, 2 in the next, 2 again in Dallas. And just like that, she set a franchise record.
Benefit, obviously there's the aspect of having a new coach and a lot of new teammates, so in that regard.
The only player in Fever history to hit multiple three-pointers in each of her first 3 games. She opened up the floor like a stretch four sniper, giving Boston and Howard space to operate in. The paint, Coach White described her as an immediate fit, praising her ability to learn the system and deliver under pressure. She played limited minutes, but every possession counted. These weren't accidental heroes. McDonald and Bibby were strategic solutions to a team in transition. Their contributions weren't just timely, they were transformative. Meanwhile, Paige Bueckers did everything she could to keep Dallas in the fight. Her 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals showed the poise and talent that made her a college legend. But she was a one-woman army. The rest of the Wings collapsed under the weight of poor execution and rising pressure. Dejanai Carrington, last season's most improved player, had a disastrous showing for points and 5 turnovers, capped off by a mindless shot attempt in the 3rd that sealed her night as a liability. Dallas head coach Chris Clains openly criticized the officiating after the game.
Yeah, I think for myself that was the best part of it, being in the room and there's over 40.
But even that couldn't mask the dysfunction. The Wings shot nearly double the free throws of Indiana, 25-13, yet still lost by 10. The final score was 88-78. The Fever not only won, they dominated in all the ways that mattered. They set franchise milestones. They proved their depth. And they showed they are not a one-star team. Then came the aftermath. And it was just as explosive as the game itself. In post-game interviews, Mitchell again praised Aari McDonald in a way that made it clear this wasn't just about basketball. Her words were loaded with subtle meaning. "This is our blessing in disguise," she said, referencing Aari's arrival. She talked about how the team had been all over the place earlier in the season, about players who weren't around as much, about filling shoes that not a lot of people expect. It didn't take long for fans and insiders to connect the dots. Those comments echoed the shadow of Dana Bonner's release.
Decided it was a special year, just everything that happened within women's sports and the way.
When Bonner was waived, it created the roster space and cap flexibility that allowed Indiana to keep both McDonald and Bibby. In a way, Mitchell's praise for McDonald wasn't just gratitude, it was relief. The Fever had found something better. They had traded instability for chemistry, and it paid off in real-time wins. Coach White didn't hold back either. Her comments reinforced that this team was now built around resilience, flexibility, and chemistry. She talked about us versus the world, about a locker room that had bought into one another, about how the adversity of missing Clark turned into a blessing in disguise. The team had grown tighter, more dangerous, more dynamic. What made this game so monumental wasn't just that the Fever won without Caitlin Clark, it was that they looked like a complete team, a team that knew how to adjust, a team that didn't just plug holes, but actually evolved. McDonald became the floor general. Bibby became the floor stretcher. Boston and Howard became a dominant post duo. And Mitchell stepped into the spotlight as the calm, fierce veteran ready to lead the charge. Now, imagine adding Caitlin Clark back into that mix. That's the Fever dream the rest of the WNBA should fear. This isn't the same Indiana team that stumbled through early season growing pains. This is a team that built chemistry through adversity.
Entire career, whether the beginning when I didn't play in front of anybody to the very end.
Found unexpected leaders and created depth that rivals any contender in the league. And when Clark returns, it won't be a return to dependency, it will be a return to dominance. She join a squad that knows who they are and what they're capable of. She'll walk into a team that just shattered for records without her and looks more dangerous than ever. Aliyah Boston and Natasha Howard made history with their dual dominance. Kelsey Mitchell became the most consistent postal star scorer in the league. Aari McDonald climbed into elite franchise company with Tamika and Caitlin. Chloe Bibby became an instant record setter.
I think we lacked in that area versus the Sparks. We kind of just let them do whatever they want to. I thought we were a step behind.
Every player found their role. Every piece of the puzzle clicked. The Indiana Fever didn't just win a game. They transformed their identity. They proved they're not Caitlin Clark and a supporting cast. They're a true threat, a team of depth, a unit that has tasted adversity and come out stronger. And now, with Clark poised to return, the rest of the league should be on high alert. Because the Fever are rising. And this time, they're bringing the fire with them. If you've got the Fever, drop a comment below. What was your favorite moment from this historic game? Who's the real MVP of this stretch? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this incredible season. The best is yet to come.